I think when people think about the homeless, they need to think of a montage of a lot of visuals. A female, male, young, African American, white, Latino. In the face of homelessness is truly a diverse look at our population. The citizens of Dallas are the family of these homeless people. When we start to think about that way, we deal with it a little bit differently, as opposed to just a scourge or a problem we have. Dallas is a very young city compared to the cities on the coast. It's a very vibrant city. It's a city that's built on commerce and business, real estate, banking, tech. There's no question. We're a very, very wealthy city. The key is, how do you harness those resources to deal with the long-term issues that any burgeoning city faces? I'm Mike Rawlings. I'm the former mayor of Dallas. Before that, I spent 5 years being the homeless czar, tried to lead the city's efforts in dealing with some of the strategies for homelessness. Homelessness seems to be an issue that we as mankind have had forever. And as cities grow, homeless populations grow because individuals fall through the safety nets that we have.
Dallas is a growing community. But like many urban areas, there's a lot going down in the inner core. A lot more apartments, a lot more activities, a lot of things that attract younger folks. But an integral part of that is homelessness.
Right now, there are projections that anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 folks are experiencing homelessness in Dallas.
Dallas is smaller than a couple of other cities in Texas, and yet has the largest counted homeless population. The Metroplex has over 7 million people in it now. Dallas just doesn't have the capacity to address the need, so it's growing out of control.
Everybody throughout this whole city, anybody that comes in front of us always says, look, I love the homeless. I'm there to support it, but not in my backyard. And so we needed a more complex, holistic approach to this issue, a network of resources. And we've been working on it seriously for the last 15 years.
So the Stew Pot is a safe haven that offers for folks experiencing homelessness to have opportunities to start a new life or resources such as basic survival needs. Folks that come to the Stew Pot have fallen through the cracks, and we can help them move forward in their lives. My name's Brenda Snitzer. I'm the Executive Director of the Stew Pot, a ministry of First Presbyterian Church of Dallas. First Presbyterian Church of Dallas started the Stew Pot. It started as a soup kitchen and gradually continued to grow the services to help those that were experiencing homelessness. We have our meal services where we provide 1,000 meals a day, 365 days a year. Crisis intervention as well as long-term counseling. We have a youth program that comes in for any youth that might be homeless, casework services and ID services. It's a huge part of what we do. The spiritual needs of folks are just as important as their physical and emotional needs. And that often gets overlooked when people are experiencing homelessness. All of us want to feel a purpose or something to have joy about. The Stew Pot Art program has been going for over 30 years. just to give folks a creative and distracting opportunity from being homeless.
We have a lot of painters, really gifted people who can paint like nobody's business. Everybody comes in with their own passion, their own ability, their own willingness to share and put everything on the canvas that they're feeling that day. And then we benefit from it by getting to look at the beautiful work.
There is an opportunity to sell their works. We do galleries all over Dallas, and folks buy their work, and 90% of that goes to the artist. Because of the art program, so many people have become housed with regular income, and so it is a way of helping folks get off the streets and on their feet.
What did I do with it? Picture I'm working on, if you notice, I sketch it, and it's to the size of the canvas.
Leon has been in the program for a number of years. There are disputes as to when he started, actually.
I've been through 3 directors, I know that. Oh, that's Bubs in here. Turn that down. Oh, man, I used to sleep right down here in front of Stew Pie. Don't really need a home. This is like home, right here.
Leon is a very meticulous painter. He takes his craft very seriously. He has some really renowned pieces out. And we've even made prints of one of his recent works. Actually, the original is hanging in the home of our former mayor. That's quite an honor for Leon and for the Stew Pot as well.
When I gave the presentation to the mayor, they say people want a copy of it. So they say, would you like to have a trust fund? I said, who wouldn't, you know? We just had a show at a church over in North Dallas, and I sold 3 of them, and pretty good. I've been here for like I said, over 15 years at the Stew Pot. And it's a way of giving me the way to express my art and my talents again.
A lot of times our artists will come in and paint about what they have experienced. A lot of our artists have experienced trauma. To be able to have the opportunity to come and work on a blank canvas and finish it out and to be able to express yourself is really very powerful.
The critical thing that we see as a ministry is really reaching out to people as a whole person. And that also explains why we try to have other resources like our art and gardening and other things that really are life-affirming activities. It's so important to have those programs, not only through the Stew Pot, but anywhere else that is working with folks that are experiencing trauma and homelessness.
There are a lot of individuals who tried to make homelessness simple. If folks wouldn't do drugs, took care of their resources better, simply talk to somebody about a traumatic experience that they had in their life, they'd be in great shape. I wish homelessness was this very easy, non-complex scenario. Right now, we are getting 250 new individuals to homelessness on this campus every month. Ultimately, we endeavor to help them find a home of their own in our community. My name is Dr. David Woody III, and I'm the president and CEO of The Bridge, a homeless recovery center in Dallas, Texas. We, on our less than 4-acre campus, have an array of services right here for a person to craft a strategy out of homelessness. We serve 3 meals a day. We have a great relationship with the Stew Pot that does our food preparation. In addition to, we are able to sleep at night, just 300 folks. Parkland Hospital has a clinic on our campus, so to get a person's physical health needs evaluated and taken care of. But we also offer therapy opportunities for folks who are managing co-occurring disorder issues, both a mental health issue and a substance use issue. We have a kennel. 12 to 15% of the homeless population has a companion animal. Most shelters don't have a kennel, and so those folks won't come off the street because they don't want to abandon their companion animal. We want to do everything possible to make your stay here hospitable. But what's it going to look like when you feel like you don't need to be here too? You have your own home. What does that look like? And to begin that conversation right at the front door is really important. For a lot of folks, recovery is about what is under your control. Do you really understand that? And how do you sustain it?
To live at the bridge is kind of crazy, but you kind of have to get used to it because there's a lot of advantages. Like you get to eat here, you get to shower here, you can sleep here. Right now, we're actually inside of one of the TS rooms, transitional shelter rooms. You have your own bed and you have a locker to put all your stuff. I was homeless, almost the same situation as other people, not a really good support system, having to find your own way in the world. I'm Tiara McCoy, I'm 21. I left home at 17. I joined the Army National Guard. It didn't really go as planned because I kept ending up homeless. My biggest problem was getting housing. I never had experienced something like that. Sleeping outside or being out in the rain and the cold with no shoes on, no clothes, no ID, no social. It's still a blur. Because a lot of the time, I was going without eating. When you don't eat, you kind of just forget things.
So when Tiara first came to the bridge, she was traumatized, very angry and frustrated. Basically, with the help of the supervisor and the VA rep, we were able to get Tiara to understand that we were here for her. We weren't going anywhere, and as long as you work the process will work for you.
I ended up having to go through Metro Care, and then I had to go through the process of getting my ID and my social, and then I had my head on straight at that point. I was like, okay, so I know I need my meds. I know I need to have a job. If I want to, I know I'm gonna have to work my way up completely. It took me 7 months, but now I'm still working. I still got a few more months before I'm really on my feet. Basically, I get my housing next month. It's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna have to focus on finding furniture and making my apartment a home. Because the bridge is not supposed to be a home. But once I go home, I'm gonna make it a home.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day.
The bridge is a recovery center. Yes, we shelter people, but at the end of the day, we're about recovery. So one of the things I think people may not realize is their hope. If you think, well, the homeless people are homeless because they choose it, they want to just be out here panhandling, they don't want to work. Not true. You come down to the bridge, you look at the long lines of people trying to get help, trying to engage a care manager, trying to get a job through Workforce Solutions, or trying to get help in some fashion. You know, people are struggling, that's right, and they've had some bad breaks in their lives, and that's right. But this is a place of hope. This is a place where recovery can happen.
My name's Erica Lariano, but most of everyone, they call me New York. Oh, the bridge. The bridge is an awesome place. How it works is when you first come in, you're confused, you're lost, you do your intake. Once you get your mat, you gotta commit to that mat, you gotta commit to seeing your caseworker, but it's utilized to help you on your feet. It's tedious. You're gonna be around a whole different type of people. People that have been on the street and they've had some rough times. If you come in here broken, you're gonna leave unbroken. If you work the program, if you do what you have to do. I have been with the bridge for exactly a year. I was diagnosed with cancer, lung cancer. So my family, they're not around. I didn't have anyone to take care of me. They're far. I lost everything I had because I was like real sick. So I packed up and I came to the bridge. First day I came, I was already on Parkland Plus. Started doing my, radiation. I'm in remission right now. I'm completely done. I'm completely good. If you would ask me what do I want in the future, my own place to live. And that's what we're working on. That's the last step. I'm working on housing. This is the stepping stone. I want to step off and just live by myself and be normal, like 98% of all Americans.
When the bridge started 10 years ago, the city of Dallas asked us to do the meal service because we had over 30 years of experience. All the meal services staff at the bridge are the Stew Pot staff.
Where can you go eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then they cater to you? It's like a hotel. Like, where else can you get that at?
All right, we got about 4 minutes left. That's right, 4 minutes left in the meal service. So get that last glass of water, whatever you need. You got 4 minutes.
Michael Haynes is one of the most caring guys that you'll meet. He tries to enliven everything at the meal service. He knows the clients, he cares about the clients, and really reaches out to try to make them have a good day whenever he sees them.
My name is Michael Haynes, Director of Meal Services for the Stew Pot Second Chance Cafe, a ministry of the First Presbyterian Church of Dallas. We started our meal service program in 1975 and have been serving meals out of the Stew Pot. And then in 2008, whenever the Bridge opened their facility, we were asked by them to bring our meal service program over here. We do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3 meals a day, 365. Today we're expecting about 500 people for breakfast and another probably close to 500 for lunch. It'll be about 9,000 pounds of food that we'll serve today to our guests. We work off of a lot of donations. Obviously, we do have to purchase some food. We have a huge food recovery program that we've been doing to where we'll go out to restaurants, different events, charities to bring food in that would otherwise be thrown in the trash. You know, it can be challenging at times working with the homeless, but it's also very rewarding at times too. You know, they're just average folks just trying to get by, trying to, figure it out. I firmly believe that we're about 2 or 3 decisions away from ending up in the same place as some of these folks here. Most of us just had a good network to get us through those hard times. Working here really made me just want to help people and help others and made me realize how much I enjoy just helping folks.
What you up to this morning, sir?
Dr. Woody is a fantastic guy. Him and I can just work hand in hand together really, really well. He'll stop and talk to anybody and everybody, and he wants to do everything he can to make the facility better. He's just a great listener.
You walk around the campus with David Woody and you can't go 10 feet without somebody coming up and saying, Dr. Woody, can you help me with this or can you help me with that? And he always stops. He always stops and has compassion.
Crafting relationships with homeless individuals is an important component of what a recovery experience is going to be about. That a guest would feel listened to allows them to take a deep breath and then to open up about who they are, their story.
We've got a wonderful culture here, a culture that calls our homeless friends guests. They've got a lot to overcome, but this environment helps them do it.
If I'm looking at the Grand Canyon, on one side of the canyon is this homelessness experience, and on the other side of the canyon is a person having a home. Our organization is about crafting that bridge. But we also know underneath that can be some terrible experiences that folks have to put in a manageable place. That's what the bridge is about. How is it that we can craft this way over this chasm? It may take a day when they're moving from homelessness to being reunited with a family member and onto self-sufficiency. For some folks, it may be going down into the chasm, and it may be 12 months of work to get into housing. We have just under 100 individuals who can at least strap on the skills to approach a homeless individual as equally valued, as just as important, helping them in the best way that we can.
Most of the time when we think about homelessness, we think about the guy panhandling down on the corner or the person sleeping under the bridge. We don't typically think about families with children. My name is Ellen Magnus, and I'm the president and CEO of Family Gateway. Family Gateway is an organization that serves families with children who are experiencing homelessness. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have an emergency shelter, which is one of the only emergency shelters in Dallas that will serve a family of any kind. We also provide supportive housing for families who are coming out of shelter and going into housing. It's dormitory style here, so each family has its own room. And then we immediately begin working with the adults in the family on what's your plan out. We immediately start working on your exit strategy from Family Gateway.
So this is where I lived at for 97 days. And I don't look like a homeless person, and I never thought that I would be in this place like this. But circumstances led me here, and it was a very scary road. Who's that?
Me.
Who's me?
In 2018, when we look at all the families who called seeking services, we would count about 2,000 families who we classified as literally or imminently homeless, and that's about 6,000 kids. They're not out visible to the public. In fact, they're trying to hide. They're afraid that their kids might get taken away. So when we do things like go out every year and count the homeless population, guess what? They don't get counted. And it's a population that doesn't have necessarily all the same issues that we might find with individuals who are experiencing homelessness. It's a different category. We have many families who have very ill children. They're single parents trying to decide, do I go to work today or do I take care of my kid? And I'm not talking about a kid with the flu. I'm talking about a kid with cerebral palsy. And they don't have the sufficient employment resources. And so I have to stay home with my kid, or I have to take my kid for chemotherapy treatment today, or whatever the situation is. And so therefore I can't go to work at my hourly job. We add enough of that up over a month, and now I can't pay my rent.
My wife ended up getting pregnant again, and she could not work because she was high risk. We didn't have any money in our pocket. My son was living off of 7-Eleven hot dogs and slices of pizza. And, we took that initial step and gave Family Gateway a call. You're gonna be given a case manager, and luckily I had one of the nicest women here. Her name is Sabrina Nash, and she went the extra mile.
My name is Sabrina Nash. I'm a case manager here at Family Gateway. My role is to pretty much navigate the system, try to get our families entering the program, housed. I've been here 12 years.
She's not one of those type of people that's gonna beat around the bush with you. The work and effort that she puts into her job day to day, I commend her for that.
Quayshawn Moss and Corinthian Powers and their son Noah. They were on the streets for a little bit before they found out about Family Gateway. From there, we've been working more than once a week, trying to get housing.
This is a year program. They house you for 90 days, and after that, you can come and get resources even after you found your place and transition out of here.
I don't like to discuss housing with my families until employment is in place. My goal is to make sure my families become self-sufficient. I don't want any of my families coming back. So we're not just looking at rent, we're looking at your needs, the kids' needs, bills, car notes, all the other stuff comes with that. So the steps are intense. We keep them busy. This is a program. This is not a permanent address. Tough love, but it's real love.
Childcare here is amazing. They have a lot of volunteers that come in and really spend time with the kids. They don't have to think about what they're really going through. Let's have time for the kids to enjoy being kids and not have to worry about what adults are going through.
Kids, no surprise, who sleep in cars at night, guess what? They're not in school. And so they're very, very far behind. So we want to try to get them stabilized in school. And we offer an education program for them as well as after school and extracurricular activities.
Homelessness isn't a stereotype. It isn't a certain way of life. It can happen to anybody. To be homeless and to say that I don't have a physical address, it's a tough pill to swallow, especially as an adult who has a family.
No, it's not just about people laying on curbs. We have people with very, very good jobs, from attorneys on down in here, homeless. It can happen to anybody. Anybody. They don't want to work. They're where they want to be. They have a choice. No, they don't. Some of them don't. A lot of us, and I'm including myself because I was once homeless, we didn't have the option, again, to pick and choose. This was our house. This is where I was brought up with my grandparents. I had my son, I think I was 15 or 16 years old. I lost both of my grandparents to cancer. First, it was my grandmother to breast cancer. And we still resided in the home with my grandfather, who passed a year later to colon cancer. After that, it seemed like everything just went downhill for us. We became homeless. I got me in a shelter with my baby, trying to get a job. I'm struggling. Some days it's like, it's not even worth living, you know what I mean? Like, I went through, why am I here? And when I hear people say, homeless people have a choice, not all of us. And a friend of mine told me about Family Gateway, and she said, they'll help you.
Sabrina came into shelter, got herself up on her feet, and then eventually she became an employee of Family Gateway. So now she has the benefit of looking across the table at people who are coming into shelter and saying, I've been there. I get this. You can do this, right? So that's pretty empowering for people.
One of my families asked me, she said, Miss Sabrina, have you ever been homeless? I wait on that cue. Yes, ma'am. So, sweetheart, I understand exactly what you're going through. But my goal is to get you out of here. Just like myself, you deserve a second chance too. Yeah, it's been like, 29 years. I've been independent thanks to Family Gateway.
I'm in a better situation due to coming here and sitting down and reevaluating my life. There's not a lot of shelters like this out here, and for them to be doing this and have so much success, it really speaks volume for what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish.
Go easy. Good, hands by your sides, standing up nice and tall. Good, put your hands here like this, sing. Two more.
My name is Jonathan Pallant, and I'm the director and founder of the Dallas Street Choir. Dallas Street Choir is a musical outlet for those experiencing homelessness and severe disadvantage. We have welcomed over 2,000 singers into our rehearsal room. We perform 3 to 4 concerts every month. We average between 70 and 80 singers at rehearsal every week. Performances will have between 30 and 50 at every performance, and we've been really fortunate to have been given this responsibility to be the voice and the face of Dallas's homeless community.
So the Dallas Street Choir was a partnership that was started out of the Stew Pot, and they continue to rehearse in our facility weekly. Folks that are singing in the choir, you see the joy on their faces, getting to raise their voices and share something with others.
Hearts open, minds away.
It's a safe place to be yourself. It's a safe place to have new experiences and to go beyond what you think you are capable of doing. This is our way to make life better for those on the street. We spend a lot of time in rehearsal talking about stereotypes of homelessness. Laziness, addiction, mental illness, drunks who smell. These are all things that people have predetermined one who is homeless to be. I think what we're doing is combating that. Our members have desires and passions and gifts and abilities and talents and something to say, and it's important that the community sees this and hears it. The to-do list for a Dallas Street Choir member tends to be very short. There is no daily schedule most who live on the street keep. It's where am I going to sleep, where am I going to eat, and then what social services do I need at that time. Now, I'm speaking very much in generalizations here, but there is an appointment Wednesday mornings at 9:30, and our singers take that very seriously. That's commitment. They've committed, I've committed. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say that our members want to be better. They want to feel good about what it is they do. They want others to acknowledge them. I mean, in truth, isn't that what we all want? I know that what we do here is we offer that opportunity. I don't think there is one face to homelessness. It can affect anybody at any age, at any point in their life. And I think we in the Dallas Street Choir are a cross-section of that. Disproportionately, we are African American. The average age is between 45 and 54. Nearly all of our members have a high school diploma or GED, and a good number have college experience. Most have had careers already in their lives, and something happened. I don't know of a single person who didn't have a point in their life where their trajectory could have changed had it not been for the help of someone else. We all have had safety nets to help us when we're in trouble. And from what our members have told us, their journey to being homeless happened when their net wasn't there to help them. You know, I'm not a social worker. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I am a choir director who knows the value of music as a therapy. What we do here is simply to lift one up, to offer them a place to feel dignity and to know that you're having a positive effect on someone else. You have a place here, and that is the therapy in itself. Music is powerful. It's a powerful healing conduit to bring people closer together. It is a safety net.
Go! Yes, we shall overcome someday. One more time. Someday. Have a seat. Good work.
Today is a common day in Dallas. The weather's hot, but we would be out on the streets even if it was pouring down rain or iced over. 18, 19 years ago, I was a part of a church group that was out feeding the homeless on the streets. You know, we were serving sandwiches and, you know, show up and you got a line of people and you give out some clothes, you give out some food. And it's funny because everybody that does this thinks they invented it. And they also think it's solving homelessness. And they didn't, and it's not. But then I recognized these guys need a lot more than food. And so I started showing up when we weren't serving food and meeting with a couple of guys under trees and in parks and under bridges, just hanging out with homeless friends, building relationships with them, kind of like you build a relationship with your neighbor.
You know, you need to come to our place and see a doctor, man. When we were young, we could skip going to the doctor a lot. But now that we got gray hair coming and going and losing, you know.
And we just started driving all over looking for folks and often finding people that were really struggling. You know, downtown, you see homeless folks that have access to resources. You drive a little bit out of town and you're gonna find people that maybe haven't eaten in 3 or 4 days. Somebody has to be here to check on people and make sure they're okay. Someone has to show up and make sure they're still breathing. Someone has to be a hand to someone who's down to help them up. And you know, today to give cold water to someone that has heat exhaustion and then invite them to come into a cool place or to take them to a safe space. Someone has to be there. Even people that don't love themselves and don't feel very lovely and often are hated by themselves and hated by society, they need someone to show up and love them. I'm Wayne Walker. I'm pastor and executive director here at Our Calling. Our Calling is a discipleship ministry for the homeless community. We specifically target the service resistant, the chronically homeless, the ones that won't go in or can't go in. Those are exactly the people we're looking for. Daily, we serve probably 300 to 500 that come in here. Annually, probably 8 to 10,000. No one sleeps at our facility. We function as really just an outreach center for people to come in. We're trying to really help them restore a broken life, help them to become the man or woman God's called them to be. And for us, it's a long-term, lifetime, till death do us part relationship. And it's all the support services necessary to do that. We're privately funded. We don't get any government money, any city money. Every dollar we have, even to build this building, is only because people give. We have a lot of partners, hundreds of agencies in the city that we work with. We have thousands of volunteers that serve here. We meet a lot of physical needs. We'll distribute over 2,000 clothing items this week. And we can do 10,000 loads of laundry a year here. You bring your laundry, we will do it for you. You don't earn a meal at a place like this. You don't work to earn a shower for us to do your laundry. We love you and want to do it for you because we love you. We also want you to stick around for a little while so we can provide some intensive case management and connect you with the VA and doctors and mental health care providers and housing and ID services and all the stuff, right? And as long as laundry is the price we pay, then by God, we're gonna do laundry every day. But really the heart of that is to build a relationship of trust with someone so that we get an opportunity to really invest in them. You can't get to change until you have a relationship. You can't have a relationship until you have trust. You don't have any trust until you have a consistency in someone's life. I often get asked, is every homeless person crazy? And I tell them not any more than the people that work with them. Homelessness will probably drive anyone crazy. You may not be crazy when you get there, but if you stay there long enough, it'll probably drive you to some really significant mental health challenges, which often leads people to self-medicate with some kind of addictive substance. Many people, when they become homeless, are not mentally ill and they're not addicts. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, man, I'd really love to live out here in a tent covered by fire ants and mosquitoes and struggling to take a shower somewhere, struggling to find the next meal. I've met people that became homeless because they got cancer or their spouse got cancer. They lost a kid and that set them into a tailspin. Someone decides I'm gonna go live in my car for a couple weeks just to escape some challenges, and those couple weeks turn into a couple years. I would guess about 70 to 80% of our folks are what's called dual diagnosis. They have a mental health care issue and a substance abuse issue, and those two compound on each other. And so if all we do is show up and give a sandwich or a bag of food and a bottle of water, we're not really doing anything to address the problem. What's your name? Willie. Willie, how long have you been out here?
About 3.5 years.
You guys doing okay over here?
Yeah.
Anybody hurt or anything? Okay. One of the things the guy over there said was he's a heroin addict. And I asked him, I said, you know, heroin's not cheap. How do you pay for it? He said panhandling every day, every dime he gets, every single dollar people give out of their window, he uses to buy heroin. For a panhandler to tell you that the money he's using to get high every day comes from out of someone's car window, and most of his friends, their drug addictions are all supported from panhandling, there's gotta be a better way to help people than just supporting their addiction. Willie, have you ever been in a rehab?
Yeah.
Which one?
The Salvation Army.
And then you just relapsed afterwards? How long afterwards?
Oh, 90 days, something like that.
Would you want to go try again?
Maybe.
Because we could do that. Lord, I just pray for Willie, Lord, that you would protect him. Lord, there's a lot of good recovery programs in the city, and I pray, Lord, that you would find him with his butt planted in one of them, Lord. And I pray for your protection out here, that you would provide for Willie, Lord. Every homeless person in this area, we can look up and see details on them. We've got GPS coordinates on all the camps and all the people, so we can look up stories of each individual person and really try to approach this systematically. Most nonprofits' version of technology is a donated 8-year-old laptop with half the keys missing, right? If we really want to be successful and be professional, we have to use professional grade tools. After frustration of trying 100 different off-the-shelf products, we ended up creating our own platform. We've built a few apps recognizing that over 70% of the people we serve have phones. half of them have service on the phones, and the other half are getting free Wi-Fi at a McDonald's or Starbucks or a public library or our facility. But knowing that homeless individuals have phones gives us a unique way to track data on them, to be able to communicate with them. If you're walking in the park and you see a tent in the woods, we would love to know. We want to go to that place, and so you can report it to us. But now we have people that are homeless using the app to report themselves. They're taking a selfie saying, "I'm here, come help me." Our app, just in the Dallas area, delivers over 7,000 referrals a week. No other platform, no other method can give us those results. Not only does it work in Dallas, it works in every city in the country now. We have 125,000 resources nationwide listed. Where's the closest place I can eat? Where's the closest shelter? Can I look you up in here?
Yeah, David Jones.
David Jones. So how many of these bottles and cans are from you?
See, all of them, yeah.
All of them. And how many 40s do you think you have in a day?
6, 7.
6 or 7 40-ounce beers in a day. You drink 7 40-ounce beers. That's over 2 gallons of beer a day.
I had 2 this morning.
You already had 2 this morning. You know, you're not going to stop that on your own. You need some help.
Yeah, well, the doctor told me.
You know, we'd love to help you with that. His sister is a Dallas police officer, and he's got great grandkids here in Dallas. You know, to be homeless under a bridge and have a family member that's a police officer, we work with a lot of families that don't know what to do. And that's just the epitome of, the reality. There's not a solution in the police. It's not a solution in mental health. It's not even a solution in housing. It takes a community. It takes a healthy environment. It takes a full wraparound set of support services, because he's been in multiple housing options and obviously they didn't work. Now I'm gonna ask you a weird question, okay? But I ask this to every woman I see out here. Is anybody hurting you?
No.
Or asking you to do anything you don't want to do? Okay.
No. If they do, I'll be
We met a woman under the bridge. Her name was Angela, and she's from Mississippi originally. Now she's living under a bridge in Dallas. It's very difficult to be homeless as a woman. There's so much violence. Many women are trafficked. It's very sad. It's heartbreaking to see ladies in such a state as this.
And so this has got some hand sanitizer, toothbrush and stuff in it, okay? You want me just to set it down here? Okay.
I come out here because I want them to know that there is hope, because many people out here have lost hope. I pray for Angela. My hope for her is that she will realize her worth.
A homeless person has value. So much that they're not homeless people, but we recognize that they are people first that are experiencing homelessness. And they have intrinsic value, even on the streets, even in their challenges, even under a bridge, even covered in urine and stinky, nasty, haven't eaten in 3 days, having a crazy conniption fit, screaming and talking to an unknown person. That person still has value. So when I was 10 years old, my mom and dad became foster parents. We had lots of kids come to our home that had nowhere else to go. Over the years, it ended up being almost 70 different kids that had been in the worst kind of abusive homes. And like every kid, I also dabbled in stupid and got a PhD in it, became an addict when I was about 12 years old and was dealing with major depressive disorder and attempted suicide. I came to recognize that I was completely broken and I couldn't fix myself. And I needed something on the outside to fix me because I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't strong enough, I didn't have enough willpower, won't power. I could absolutely do nothing to fix myself on my own. And that's when I met Jesus. I'm a Jesus guy, and I think he's really cool and he's changed my life. For me, the motivation is recognizing just a sliver of how much I was loved and am loved and don't deserve it, and wanting to show a piece of that to someone else. The human experience is different for all of us, and yet it's the same. From birth to death, there's a story. And to show value in a person is to value that story. And to get to know them is not just, what's your name? What's your date of birth? But to get to know, where are you from? Where's your family? How long you been homeless? So what happened? What do you think today would help you get off the streets? You know, we're not tracking parking meters. These are people. And to get to know them intimately and to build into that relationship equity, again, allows us to move down the process of showing some consistency and care, and then really starting to build a relationship based on trust.
You know, one of the most important questions we've got to ask ourselves as individuals is, do we believe in redemption? Is there life after tragedy? Hope is the most important emotion in dealing with this issue. We've got to use our brains and our money and our hard work, but we've got to have hope. You can be cynical about things, and that's okay. This is a tough issue. But you gotta be a hopeful cynic at the same time, knowing if you do these things, we can make a difference.
We have an awesome opportunity to understand homelessness, that we have an awesome opportunity to understand our community.
I'm one of the ones, I'll tell you, I came in with nothing, and now I feel like I dress my best, I look my best, I smell my best, and it's all because of the bridge. The bridge is a good place.
I don't believe I would go back to being homeless. I like where I'm at so much, and I'm very focused. I have tunnel vision. You gotta really change yourself from the inside out. You gotta become a better person while you're there. You gotta learn from that experience. And then your mindset, your mentality will change along with your heart and everything else.
Success with us, from what I was taught at Family Gateway, is not material things. If you have everything you need, you are a success.
He who saves or she who saves one is as if they save the world. And I take that to heart, because that's all it takes, one at a time.
I believe this is the second greatest job in the world, only behind being a father. When you're serving a meal to a guy, it's not just because he's hungry, it's because you are hungry to do something that matters.
I think if you really take time to look at who is experiencing homelessness, you will see every type of person that you can imagine, and sometimes you might even see yourself.
I'm a believer in redemption. I'm a believer that these people, and I've seen it, can get on the other side of this problem. It's hard, but it can be done. It can be done, and I've seen it time and time and time again. And there's nothing that brings me more joy than someone says, I was this close to dying, and now I have a job, I'm reconnected to my family, and I have a life.